Okay, so here we are again working on the Mustang. You're looking at the steering box on the car today. That's the project. We're going to pull that steering box out so we can rebuild it. Since we don't have the engine in the car, it's apparently the easiest way to get it out. So I figured, it's 50-something years old. We might as well do it anyway. I don't know if it's in too bad a shape, but we're redoing this whole car. It looks like we have the solid shaft type of steering box where there's a big long rod that connects the steering box to the steering wheel on this car. We don't have that rag joint, they call it, or some kind of coupling. So I think we have to pull the steering wheel off and everything, because this rod goes all the way into the steering wheel. It's one of those dangerous kind. Like when they used to get in front-end collisions, the steering wheel didn't collapse and people would get killed because they would impale themselves on the steering wheel. So we're going to take it out, and then I'll get a rebuild kit, and we'll go through, rebuild it, and then put it back in before the engine gets in the car. So I think the first step, we have like a little procedure that I got offline. It's like 5 steps. So the first step is to take the steering wheel off, which we've done in the past. So we're going to do a quick version of ripping off the steering wheel. Alright, so here we are inside. This is the steering wheel. We've already taken the horn button and all that nonsense off. There's like a spring in here or something. So we have to loosen this nut. What size is it?
15/16.
15/16. So we already broke it free. So I take that off. Alright, see if we can pull that thing off. Okay, so apparently, even though we took it off once in the past, once we put it back on, it's on there locked. So we're going to get the puller and just pull it off. Way to go.
Hold it in your mouth.
All right, I'll hold it in my mouth. All right, crank away. Oh, there it is. Okay, woo! It's off, right?
Yeah, it's off.
Yeah, okay, good. So we got that off. A lot of work for a little bit of effort. Well, whatever that means. Yeah, a lot of work for a little bit of fun. All right. Okay, so the next step for us is to take off this collar that holds the steering column into the car, and you do that, there's a stud and a nut on each side. So we've loosened that up. And this is what, a 1/2-inch socket?
Yep.
All right, so we're going to take those 2 out. All right, so now that the steering column is loose, the next step is to take out the 3 bolts that hold in the steering box. And those are actually accessed from the outside here. So we're going to try and, we'll just put the impact on it then. Just kind of taking those 3 bolts out right there. And then we should be able to get the whole thing, the steering box, out of the car. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to hold on to this while we take the last bolt out. Out? Yeah, it's out. Alright, so now you can see how the steering wheel is wiggling around in there. So go in there.
Yeah.
Alright, so now I'm going to try and pull this thing out. So just keep an eye on what's happening inside the car, okay?
Yeah.
Because I got to have it where... Okay, no, look, you let go. You just did something. Okay. Alright, that's it. You're done.
And now I'm just holding this.
You let go.
Well, no, because then it's just going to drop and rest on these wires.
Alright, it's out.
Really would look.
Okay, here it is. So, look how big it is. It's crazy. Like, hold it up compared to your height on the floor. Alright, so it comes up to like past your waist. Yeah. So that's just one big solid rod on there. That's raining today. Alright, so we can take this guy apart, and then I'll get a rebuild kit for it. We have to measure the diameter of the shaft down here above the pitman arm. So we'll get a pitman arm puller tomorrow. We'll pull that off, and then we'll get in here and measure the diameter of this shaft. I forget what they call it. It's either 1 inch or 1 1/8 inches, and depending on what size it is, that's the size repair kit you order, because you have to get bearings for that shaft inside. So that'll be, the rebuild will be in the next video. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Keep coming back, and we'll be working on the Mustang.